The handle must be blended into the rest of the bottle, but I will not try to blend it immediately when it's made. Instead, I'll build the handle slightly oversized, then trim it back and blend it with the rest of the part. The shape of the handle is shown in the layout sketch, so I'll begin by showing it. I'll create a new sketch on the right plane and copy the handle spline using Convert Entities. I'll exit the sketch and rename it Handle Spline. With the spline converted, I would normally hide the layout sketch. This would enable me to focus on the task at hand without being distracted by the rest of the layout geometry. In this case, however, I have an additional need for the layout sketch, so I'll leave it shown for now. Creating the handle will require a set of 4 sketches capturing the cross-sectional shape of the handle. To create these sketches, I'll need 4 planes perpendicular to the spline. 2 of the planes will be at the endpoints of the spline, and the other 2 will be along the spline, located at existing control points. If I momentarily hide the layout sketch, you can see the converted spline does not include the control points from the original spline. Rather than create new points, I'll simply show the layout sketch and use a couple of the original control points to create the new planes. I'll begin with a perpendicular plane at the bottom endpoint of the spline. Using the same options along with the control point as a reference, I'll create the next 2 perpendicular planes. And the last plane will be on the top endpoint of the spline. Now I can hide the layout sketch and continue with the cross-sectional shapes. I'll begin on the lower plane. Sketching an ellipse placed below the handle spline. With a pierce relation between the top control point and the spline itself. I'll add dimensions and use relations to fully define the sketch. With the first ellipse in place, copy and paste can be used to replicate the sketch on the other planes. Once the sketch is pasted, I'll modify dimensions and relations to position the ellipses. The handle can be created using either a loft or a boundary surface. In this case, the profiles are closed loops. I'll use the boundary surface, mainly to serve as an example of a boundary surface using closed loops. I'll initiate the boundary surface feature, and select the ellipses in the Direction 1 selection box. For Direction 2, I'll select the handle spline. If each selected entity is in its own sketch, as is the case here, I don't need to use the Selection Manager. If, however, any of the profiles belong to sketches containing other geometry, then it would be necessary to use the Selection Manager. At this point, I'll click OK to complete the overall shape of the handle.